Welcome to the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. We're here giving you bite-sized information for you to take in your daily life. I'm here with a great friend and brother. He's visiting the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. So I'll just allow him to introduce himself and say a little bit about himself.
Blessings, fam. I'm Zach Barney, originally from Virginia, though I live in Colombia. My soul really feels that I'm from South America, but I was born in Virginia. And it's an interesting story of how I ended up in Colombia. So I'm a lifestyle medicine coach. For me, lifestyle is about making your life your medicine, and I believe that the essence of that is your breath. The essence of that is our mindset, our habits, the way we approach our day-to-day life really impacts everything. As we change ourselves, we change the entire world. I'm really grateful to be here.
I appreciate you. You've been here many times before, and you're a huge part of anything that goes on here at the sanctuary. And I know that on Saturday we had some breath work and an ice plunge as well. So tell me a little bit about that, and how does that fit into your daily practice?
Specifically cold showers. For me, I love the cold. I feel that the cold gives me courage. When I go into the cold shower, it's starting the day off with a boost of courage. Right? When I was younger, I used to have challenges going into cold water and feeling the cold. And now I love it. I've embraced that challenge of the cold, and it's really refreshing afterwards. So I say that the cold showers for me, it grounds my body and cleanses and removes any mental parasites. So I start the day a little bit fresher.
Mental parasites, that's great. Yeah, it seems to seep into other parts of our lives as well. It's not just like that one event. It's also during the day also. So tell me about that. Some of the challenges that you face, in your practice, and what is it that you're doing, and how that you're helping others too. How does the breath work and the ice also help with that?
Yeah, specifically, it helps us become more aware of our thoughts, specifically. And a lot of times we're going through our day, we're rushing, we're doing a bunch of things, and we're not fully aware of what we're thinking and how our thoughts are influencing our reality. And specifically the ice in the cold immersion really allows us to slow down, because when you're in there, there's nothing else you're thinking about. You're not thinking about the future, what's happening, or what's happening in the past. You're really more present with just whatever comes up. And it becomes so true when you're in that cold immersion. And the same with the breath or meditation. In that moment, you're just with yourself, and you're allowing the thoughts and the emotions to come up and being aware of it. So it's really a practical exercise.
It does. I feel that it's something that you can do every day. You might not want to go running, or you might not want to be lifting 1,000 weights or something like that. But the breath work alone, that should be like a daily practice. Who doesn't have 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to take in lots of breath, and to the air retention also. It's so powerful. And then you speak about pushing you into the now. We're big on that. The exercise there is just to be in the present moment, right here. Everything is perfect. We're perfect. Everything is perfect here. So tell me a little bit about also, what is it that you're doing these days? Because I've known you for about 2.5 years, right? I met you through my nephew, Darian, and we've met, and the relationship has been amazing, and you're contributing tremendously here. And I also want to state that you also send a lot of people here too. So thank you so much for the trust too. But tell me a little bit about what is it that you're doing these days? I know you mentioned life coach and those other things, and with your partner. What is it that you're building?
Yeah, so life coaching is a part of it. I would say the full spectrum of it is community, in person and online. And And deeper in that is the vision is of, supporting people in becoming their own healer. So let's say that process can be online and in person, because I see online is really about wherever you're at in your life, making your life, like your home, all these things, your medicine.
I like that.
And what I would say the key concept is integration, right? In my past, I've done a lot of plant medicine work. I've held space in ceremonies and supported in the spaces. And I always came back to integration being the key to actually the transformation. So our focus is really on transformation. How can we transform people? And that looks like through a combination of lifestyle medicine coaching and also in-person immersions, or what we call retreats. Like you can imagine, it's a training. It's like it's a gym, and it's a training for your spirit, for your soul. And it's less about how you look. Like it's not like you're going to the gym and it's like, oh yeah, you just try to look good. And no, it's actually all about inside. How are you training your core values, your belief systems? How are you releasing the limiting beliefs that don't serve you? So it's a lot. It's deeper than just what we see on the outside.
Right. I noticed that in many belief systems, they're always looking outward, or something that's going to come and to help them and do something for them. But if you look deeper into the scriptures, it'll tell you that it's inside of you. Like the kingdom of God is here. Even the pictures that they show and the artists rendering, showing it's here. They're pointing to inside of you. So you speak about the immersions, right? You've done a number of retreats with us. You've helped us build and coordinate those things, and you've even led in different ceremonial settings, and there's been transformation there in those immersions. So perhaps there's, tell us a little bit about that, or perhaps a story or something that you've seen in some of these immersions, and what was the outcome of some of these things?
Yeah, so for me, the concept of immersions really connected with kind of like, you imagine like the Buddhists or the yogis. They don't just always stay in their life. Yeah, your life is your medicine, though also it's really useful to have a period of time, like let's say at least 3 days, 3 to 7 days in a month, where you really set that time aside to be more still, be more conscious, be more aware. Be away from distractions and really focused on yourself and your inner growth, and really it's like your inner currency, like how are you becoming more valuable within yourself versus looking at it when we're in the world. We're looking at money, like we're looking at, oh yeah, how can I grow my business? How can I do better at work? How can I make more money? How can I do all these things? Well, how much time are we taking for ourselves to grow that inner world? Right, all those values and creating a stronger foundation for ourselves. Because that's what I see, is that's the foundation at the root of our external world.
Right.
Everything's a result of like, okay, what's the inner work we're doing? So the immersion is really a key piece of that. It's an opportunity to train our body, mind, and soul.
That's interesting. You mentioned the inner currency. Wow, that's a beautiful way of putting it. Because we're always looking outside for something that's going to happen for us. But how about some of the transformations that you've seen with some people? Maybe, what are the results that you've seen in some of these immersions that you've been a part of?
The biggest thing I've seen is a shift in mindset. The shift from more of a scarcity mindset into a more abundant mindset. A shift from like little s self, right, being really selfish in a way, and then also shifting that to big S self love. Finding self-love is something that I find it's essential to all these immersions and retreats. It's like, okay, well, where does that come from? Okay, your daily rituals, your daily habits, your practices. And I mean, that's a big part of transformation, is is seeing the change in the habits, the change in the mindset of the people that are coming in also. And that's really a key part to it all.
It is. I feel so also in some of these immersions that I've been involved with too. Like some of the transformation has been just outstanding. And then during those events too, like some of the things that people share, deep stuff, like everybody's walking around and you think everybody's just fine. We're getting along, we're shopping, I see people in the park riding their bike. But when you get them in that setting, when you create that environment, that scenario where you support them, where they feel safe and they just open up, they start saying all kinds of things, man, like things that are on their mind. And they're able to let that go, dump it. And then there's the fire ceremony where they just put it in there. Or it's the ice where they're in it and they're like, I'm leaving it right here, freezing it in the ice. It's amazing.
Yeah, and then I would say a key piece to that, right? So doing these experiences, right, breath work, even movement, ice bath, ceremony, what it does is it puts us more into our body and it really allows us to feel again, to really experience life versus, read about life. Yeah, you can take a course where you're reading about life and like someone knows what someone else did. Though when you're in that, there's a really core key piece of embodiment in the immersion. And then what I say is empowerment is also a really key piece. And the empowerment piece really has to do with our mindset. Mindset being the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, what we can't do, what we can do. And a lot of times that record, right, that's playing in the background is actually unconscious. So once we get into the body, once we change your state, it's really about shifting our words. And from shifting our words, we can shift our actions. Though, like if we miss any piece of that, it becomes more complicated because we're like, why am I doing the breath work? Why am I doing the meditation, but nothing's happening? Well, what's your story? What's the words you're telling yourself? Because the words you're telling yourself could still be keeping you in that stuck energy. And then how are you expressing yourself, right? So a really key piece to that I see in the transformation is relationships. Because relationships are spaces for us to practice communication. And in our society, we're not trained how to communicate. We know how to talk, though properly communicate is less so.
That's beautiful. I've seen you working with other individuals and I've seen the transformation there and how you've guided them into some of those things about the story that they're telling, like to break free from that and to level up, So that's beautiful. And excuse me. I know that some of these immersions, people look at them and they go, well, I don't know if I could afford that or something like that. But how could you not afford it? How could you not do that thing, right? I think it was one of the masters, Jim Rohn. He said, if you think trying is expensive, wait until they give you the bill for not trying. So how about in some of the things that you're doing here with the Omziel Healing Sanctuary and other organizations that you've worked with and some of the personal things that you're doing, how do you see Omziel Healing Sanctuary fitting into that whole scenario?
I see there's a giant ecosystem. There's many small local communities popping up around the world. And it's really around holistic living. Right? And also returning back to living to the natural principles. And there's these little hubs, right? Different places. And for myself, I see myself as a connector. And bridging these little hubs, these people, and making those connections so that we can all actually expand and grow together. And I think that's a really key piece because what I found, at least, is from after the individual consciousness for myself of like, okay, my foundation's laid, I'm automatically thinking about how can I support the people around me. So it's really about finding that change within myself, and from that place of transformation, be able to connect worlds. And if I try to do vice versa, it's so much harder. Because it's like I'm trying, right? I'm like this force energy of like, why is this not working? Like I'm trying. Well, part of trying is that there's an inherent energy of that word of it's going to fail. Well, right, so let's say instead of trying, why don't I just fill out myself and fill up myself with lots of love, so I'm flowing. Oh, how can I flow and serve from a place of that energy?
Right. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I can see that you're a fixer, you're a connector, like you're the go-to guy. Like that's why I've seen you, send so many people here. Like they just show up like, hey, Zach sent me, what's going on? Like, it's beautiful. Appreciate that. And I can see the currency that you're building, in community. Thank you so much for the work that you do, bro. Appreciate you. All right, guys, there you have it at the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. Come on down. We're in North Bergen, New Jersey. Where can people find you?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on Instagram at zachbarney.lm. So ZACHBARNEY.lm. And this is what we're doing. We're making community the new currency.
That's right.
It's a level up.
Aho, brother. Aho.
Aho.
Thank you. Peace.